Almost got away from me a little bit there.
Smash that like button.
Yes, also do that. Hello, chat. We're chilling. Okay. People be talking about books. Hold on, let me mute the server for a little bit. Hello.
Yeah, look at those boys.
Welcome to Failed Portrayal. Hopefully being correctly served to your sub box today. Because
I did see it.
yes. Okay, good. I know a lot of people were having that problem last night. I did yell at YouTube about it and did get a reply from Team YouTube on Twitter that they were looking at it.
I
so
was wondering if
hopefully
there's a bug
smoothed
because
it out.
they start splitting videos and live streams.
Yeah, I don't know, but apparently they are not doing that because I think everything is back to normal. So hopefully everybody is seeing this correctly. We're going. This episode is going to be the Failed Portrayal for Geargias, though that one's going to be a little shorter. So there's a couple of other things we can hit up first.
I feel like we could also... I feel like there's at least like 1 or 2 spell traps of the Geargia that are worth showing.
There are exactly 2 spell traps in Geargia,
might as well
and
show
we'll be
them
showing
anyway.
them. Yes. No, that's fair. Those are good. There's also only 2 of them, so yes, they're on my list already. It's pretty compact. Geargia is another one of those many modules in the Earth Machine engine, but a fairly popular one. Obviously, they got their own solo mode in Master Duel, which was very fun. They also got their own structure deck in the late Pend era. Hey, Starlight, thank you for that super chat and also that message. The Gate Guardian is real. Yeah, so that's the first thing I want to talk
did
about.
I miss a thing?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Actually, no. If you don't know this, you can check on YG Organization. Let me grab the
I thought the
body
ban
of
list of
the
it, but not
release.
this.
Yeah, I'm going to pull up the ban list so we can talk about it too. But since we're already there, let's talk about a TCG-only release, Maze of Memories.
Oh, I was wondering what that was about.
So let me read you the official presser from Konami. Maze of Memories is packed with cards that open the gates to Yu-Gi-Oh's history. There are 2 exclamation points in that sentence, by the way. You can relive the advent of Yugi's first ritual monster with Blackluster Soldier, Legendary Swordsman. Get back to class with the Duel Academy field spell, or rev it up with XL Synchro Stardust Dragon. So basically they're announcing this is all that anime tie-in stuff, like
They're making the weird anime version of
the
this shit,
Supreme
yeah.
King Soul stuff and things that we don't have in the TCG, for instance. This set will be porting all of that over. But also, next paragraph, every good labyrinth needs a guardian, and Maze of Memories is defended by new world premiere cards that revitalize the Paradox Brothers' iconic Gate Guardian. Combine Kazejin, Suijin, and Sangha of the Thunder in any way you'd like to special summon brand new fusion monsters.
I assumed it was going to be a contact fusion or like a link thing.
Yeah, they're going with the contact fusion route, and it sounds like they're going to do the thing that the anime did, where you'll be able to do, like, top and middle, middle and bottom half kind of shit. So you'll have a full extra deck, it sounds like.
I kind of hope
They
they
could have also
make some
gone
retrains.
They could have also gone the Magna Warrior route.
Yeah.
They also could have gone the, route and made, like, smaller versions that cheat out the others.
Well, they may do that. We don't know anyway, because this is apparently a headlining archetype, so we don't know if it'll be, like, 4 new cards or a lot.
Also,
they still haven't
like,
printed Dark Guardian, for instance. But there's a
I
couple
also
more
say
paragraphs.
A bit of, when they talk about, like Labyrinth of a Guardian, it was like, are they also going to put Labyrinth in there?
Not that kind of Labyrinth, no. That's full. But we might see, like, Labyrinth Wall in the tank. Final paragraph is, in order to make Maze of Memories truly amazing, it also contains memorable tournament-level cards from the past, as well as modern-day mainstays. You'll have another chance to smash the competition with one of the most powerful synchro monsters around, Baron de Fleur. So this is the Baron reprint you were all looking for. And I appreciate that this is clearly a nostalgia set, but they're also like, yeah, we'll print your goddamn staples. The complete Maze of Monsters set contains 67 cards, asterisk, 42 rare cards, 15 super rare cards, 10 ultra rares, 15 cards also available as collector's rare. Each pack will contain 7 cards, 1 foil per pack, 6 rares per pack. So, and the release date is scheduled for 9th of March, 2023.
I have the dumping where it's like, I always kind of want to see if, like, any of the nostalgia cards, or I guess any of the fan service cards end up in some way be broken.
Sometimes they are. Like, I think, for instance, the stuff that, for, Arc V stuff they did is actually really good, and
I'm curious
isn't
to see what,
I think some of the Vrain stuff is also pretty helpful.
Considering I know, like, some of, like, the actual, like, Blackluster Soldier stuff actually works sometimes.
I think didn't we talk about the retrain? I think he's pretty good.
Are they gonna just?
Omega has
Did they ever
seen
post
people
like
play
that
it
latest one where it's like
stupidly.
the reverse board breaker card that they?
Well,
That's
yeah.
a Dark Vision card.
All right, calm the fuck down, Axe.
Yeah.
Yes, no, you're going to say that I've seen people say Supreme King Soul stupidly. I think that's just because they're using it wrong in the anti-spell because it has a very handy banish effect that requires you to banish a spell card. But yes, no, people are playing that in Master Duel right now.
By the way, funny thing about that, I actually had it activated against me in the anti-spell thing.
Makes
Because
sense?
guess what? Putting a pendulum monster counts.
Okay. Well, that's good if you can pull it off. But yeah, it's a little awkward. But yeah, I know that what is it? Duel. I don't remember what the fuck they localized it at. Duel Entertainer, Master Duelist, whatever. The card that is just Yuya. That card is also everywhere.
Greatest entertainer.
Yeah. Like I said, I can't remember what the fuck they decided to localize it as. And it's funny, those cards came out in a same set that also included Beyond the Pendulum, even though Beyond the Pendulum is already out. But yeah, so we finally got it. Mere weeks after MBT, by the way, called out that Gate Guardian needs a retrain. Here it is, officially announced.
I mean, people have been calling out for like I think like.
Yeah,
maybe
it's
4 years?
pretty. It's a pretty common call, especially as nostalgia sets come up. It's just very funny that, like, right now, this is the one. We're doing the retrain. It's not coming out for, like, 6 more months, but they still announced it and hit us up, you know? I'll be eager to see that set and have some funny. Hopefully it can get into Master Duel, but knowing that it's a world premiere set, so TCG first, it will probably not release in Master Duel until 2025. Dear Master Duel, please release cards faster. Trust me, if you can put Valiance into the game, you can program literally every other archetype. Anyway, we do also have a new ban list, and I can pull that up properly so I can display it to you. We can have the pseudo ban list reaction. Woo! Yes, okay, done the switch.
I just remember Ruxin's review. I remember Ruxin's reaction to it. It's like, okay, man.
It's a little funny. I mean, he's got a big channel, so I'm sure it's funny. But obviously,
he's a collector.
MBT
He's a
MBT
collector.
joked about it. Yeah, and MBT kind of soft called him out on it because he's like, "Oh, I remember that card because it's got an
Also,
ultimate."
Ruxin
And he's
calls
like,
him out, and then also the game sees game kind of thing.
Yeah, it goes anywhere. Sam, Team Samurai X actually had a good one. He lit a Mystic Mine on fire.
I thought that would be more expensive. Now it's banned. Meh.
Yes,
I
Axe, but
did the,
also people hate its guts. Like,
As soon as
MBT has a pretty good... Spoilers. Mystic Mine got banned. That's probably what we're spending the bulk of our time talking about. I think MBT has a legitimate point. Like, from a strictly speaking competitive perspective, Mystic Mine wasn't really fucking anything up in the new format. It's, percentage-wise, got a pretty bad clearance rate for a sideboard card, which is, like, less than half of the time it wins you the match, which is pretty bad if that's sideboard tech. And, like, yes, it did have, like, a couple tops pre-Ishizu tier format, but it has not topped since then in the couple of events that have happened since then. So it's not really, like, a problem, not in the same way that, like, people are saying it's a problem. However, nobody fucking likes Mystic Mine. It's just an annoying card. As evidenced by some of the other stuff we're going to talk about on this list, it was clearly, like, holding other cards back, in Konami's eyes anyway. And it's just a card that's just no gosh darned fun to have in the fucking format, and I
have
like
one
many
question for you,
people,
Leah.
said it's happy to go. What's up?
Would be banned for our format immediately then.
Well, no, it's still limit 1, which in our limited format when we get back to Prague, I have no idea what that will do. I mean, it means I'm not going to be playing pure Mystic Mine Burn Stall
You
anymore.
like at least a better version 3.
Yeah, that's going to be fun.
Sorry to spoil that a little bit.
It's okay. We're going to go down the list. Maybe the chat will forget it. But I've got
like
the ban
7
list
things.
pulled up, so we're going to scroll. Lots of people are like, oh, nothing banned. Big one in the ban slot. Another Link has been banned. I think Links are now starting to catch up, if not exceed Xyz for banned cards. But it's Curious the Lightsworn Dominion. The Lightsworn Link 3. This is not really a big hit right now. Curious was a huge problem last format. Probably should have been hit last ban list. But it's not really used as much in the Ishizu tier combo. It's still a dumb card. It's not completely generic, but it's a fairly generic Link 3. I think it just needs 3 monsters of different types. Not that hard to set up in combo decks. The primary thing is that it's just a Foolish for whatever you want, which is bad. Foolish Burial itself, which sends a monster, is already limit 1 for a reason. This is just send any card you like to the graveyard. Any kind of links that are generic like that, or any kind of extra deck monsters, honestly, that are generic like that and just mimic a powerful effect for little to no cost, probably need to go. And it
Like
goes in
access
the list
code.
with...
Fuck that guy.
No, access code's not quite the same. You're never going to see access code banned, Loth. It's been reprinted so many times because it is kind of the
God.
essential link for tech. Like, access code talker exists to close games. He exists for you to go, okay, I've done my whole combo. I have a lot of monsters on board. How do I actually attack my opponent and win the game? And access code is that guy. I don't think he always has to be that guy, but right now he's that guy. Because this is a thing people forget about Yu-Gi-Oh! And I wish people wouldn't forget about Yu-Gi-Oh! And we need to ban more cards so people don't forget about Yu-Gi-Oh! The point of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is not to make your opponent go, well, fuck, I can't do anything with my 40 cards. Scoop. That should not be your win con. And honestly, we've been kind of moving away from that. As much as people don't like the Ishizu tier deck, very little of that is negate-based usually. It's more just, like, lots of floating and resource recursion. Occasionally, like, people do, like, make Winda, but I think even the Winda line has fallen out of favor. But, like, access code exists so you can win the game. It's kind of similar to cards like DPE and like Dragoon, where he is kind of easy to make if you can just shit on enough monsters, and for more casual or, like, limited format play, he is just such a motherfucker. Like, competitively, he's not a problem, but if you're just playing a lot of, like, casual ladder decks and you're like, you've made access code talker. I am not ready for that. I lose the game.
Yep.
That
I'm
said,
probably just being a Yugi boomer here when I say I hate access code, I hate fucking DPE.
No,
everywhere.
You're not a Yugi boomer. You're a pendulum player.
Also, DP, like, nobody likes DPE either. I don't think he's as much of a problem if you actually, like, ban Verte and stuff so that you can't just shit him out whenever you like. He's still, like, annoying. Nobody liked the idea that you have to have him in every goddamn extra deck. But yeah, so Curious was a really powerful generic card, and nobody should be sad to see it get got, really. Technically, it is a Lightsworn name, but I don't even think Lightsworns need him.
I mean, he was nice in Lightsworn, but yeah.
Yeah, you've got other ways to pitch whatever the fuck you want to deck.
It's just like Lightsworn wasn't competitive for, like, 5 years.
And then there it is, the only other ban.
Just needs an errata to be only Lightsworn targets.
What they'll probably do is they'll just...
It mills you, though. It doesn't target...
Well, one of its effects is send a card to graveyard. That's the problem one.
Oh. Then it should just be a Lightsworn for that, then.
Yeah. What they're probably going to do is they'll make a new Lightsworn, like Link 2 or 3, that does that for Lightsworn. Like, 2+ monsters, including a Lightsworn monster, you know, et cetera, et cetera. But there it is. Mystic Mine got the boot. Gone forever. We will probably not see its like back. And that's it. That's all we got.
As soon as I saw that announced, I raced to make the fucking crab wave meme because
yeah,
it's. I can throw my hands up in the air and be like, "Fuck, yes."
Yeah, we got far enough in our prog series to start experimenting with Mine. I don't think we ever actually did any episodes where Mine got played, but we were experimenting with it off camera.
We were just the point. Yeah.
Is a rough card. Especially in limited formats. I'm kind of glad that it was, like, pre-banned in the OCG, and that's one of the few decisions I like about Master Duel. It just never made it there. Now can you guys in Master Duel doing a solid and fucking unban Dragoon? You let people have DPE for, like, a fucking year.
Yep.
Why? Why do you hold me back so? Anyway, we're on to limits. This is our only limit, Herald of Orange Light. If you guys don't know, a lot of people are like, there's no tier hits. Not technically. One, like I said, Curious is technically a hit to the previous version of tier. It's not important with the Ishizu tier setup, but it is a card that tier can play, and it's good to take out of their repertoire because it's a card that's not future-proofed. Herald of Orange Light is also a tier card because, hey, the new Ishizu cards, those are Earth Fairies. That's their thing. Which means that if you can get a Herald of Orange Light and an Ishizu card, and pitch for a negate, say D-Shifter, Abyss Dweller, any of the other cards that absolutely ruin your day as tier, and not only do you get a negate, but you also get a fuck ton of advantage. So this does actually limit their plays a lot. I'm not sure tier decks will play Orange Light at 1, and if they do, it'll probably be like Insides, and it'll be a really sacky one of. It just means that the cards that actually counter tier limits are gonna be better. You're much less likely to eat a Herald of Orange Light and then actually like let your opponent plus off negating you. So yeah, this is a tier hit, absolutely. And again, this is one of those things where like they literally released Magnificent Mavens like 2 weeks ago. They are not going to ban tier cards or Ishizu cards yet. I also think MBT pointed this out in his ban list reaction. I think for the holiday season, there are also no more high-level tournament events scheduled. So there's no more like regionals or YCSs to take care of.
Yep.
So while you obviously will still have locals going on, there's not going to be any major tournaments anyway. So by the time we get to our next ban list, which let me double check the top. When do they say the next one will be? This one doesn't go into effect until December 1st. In a few months. So yeah, so basically now that they're not saying how many months it'll be, they're basically free to whenever the new tournament season starts up. If they're like, okay, we've sold enough tier, fuck it.
Sorry, I know we're at the limited list, but just going down from like the beginning of Armageddon Night to where we can see, you can just see how just different all the cards that are banned are. It's just like, oh, sorry, limited are. And you go like, wait a second.
And some of these guys have come back from stuff like, One Monkey Board has come back.
Oops, sorry.
Jet Sync Run came back. Tiger came back from being banned. Birdman is still one for us. Like, it's really interesting.
It's funny that they It's funny that they went, Skull back and come back to 3. Monkey Board, 1.
And still, I think Plush Fire is still banned, right?
Is it?
Yep, Perform Mage Plush Fire, still limited. Still forbidden. Yeah.
Earlier, I was like, when you were talking about Dragoon, I missed the chance because you kept going. But I don't remember the exact beat, but it's the thing of the person saying a thing in the background is like the ominous shadow, or just like the realization that Red Eye is just never good.
Yeah, basically, it's
always haunting you.
It is. Red Eyes is such a shame. I actually, it's funny. Last week we tried a new format of video. It did not work very well on stream because OBS and YGO Pro are still fighting. Regrets.
Yep.
But it was a fun concept. We may try it again when I've got, free time. I did already, as just a beta test, I tried to, refresh my roller. I got the Red Eyes pack, and I was like, okay, let me see what this is like. It's bad. It's very bad. Red Eyes himself is an Ultra. No, it is, because Red Eyes himself is an Ultra in that pack. It's not like the Blue Eyes pack where you can't get Blue Eyes White Dragon. I also wasn't explicit about this. I'm going to do the thing that, Dazif and others don't do. You can play solo mode cards and stuff and, free cards, so I would allow us to play the solo mode packs for Blue Eyes, because you can get the free Blue Eyes White Dragons and stuff. I think you can get, 1 or 2 out of one of the starter decks. Shit like that. Just because, that kills secret packs, literally, it makes the Glad Beast secret pack way worse. It makes there is no Digital Bug secret pack because most of those cards are in that side set.
Yeah, I think it's just there's certain cards that are mixed up in the Inzector pack.
Yeah. There's 1 or 2, I think it is. Similarly, speaking of solo modes, I don't know if you could, I'm sure some Geargias are in a secret pack. I don't know if you could play Geargia because half of them, I think, are in the solo mode.
Well, it would be the Machina pack because you run it with stuff like that.
Probably, yeah. But yeah, so anyway, the hypothetical, Iron Duelist setup for the Red Eyes deck, which I absolutely would take, is not great. I think it's just pray we get Lord of the Red, because he's a little rarity.
I'm just picturing that one Iron Chef announcer just being like, Red Eyes!
Tonight's secret ingredient is Red Eyes! No, that's what I want to go for the feel for. I love Iron Chef, by the way.
It feels like it'd be more of, you have to play 3 of the specific card that's bad. Or
that compilation of him just revealing ingredients and just all the faces and just wide eyes.
But yeah,
so mix of how you could make that
Orange Light
ingredient be more
Yeah,
That feels like less
I'm
like
happy
a
to
pack
see.
rolling challenge and more like.
But
deck building
I
cards,
like limited formats.
I'm
It's
happy to
I kind of
see
want Konami to
Orange.
introduce a draft mode to Master Duel. That would be funny.
I'm happy to see
Uh,
Orange Light in there because
yeah.
after Drytron kicking my ass several times.
Yeah,
in Master Duel,
Master
I've
Duel
only
is
won one
Master Duel's
anyway.
like a fucking year behind the real life format somehow.
I know.
And so people still, I do still run into people playing fucking Drytron on ladder. I'm so glad that you can't,
It's
you
the
literally
thing of-
cannot play that deck in anti-spell.
I really want to try Drytron, even though I don't really care about running the Herald part. But that's probably not good though.
Well, that is different. You want to try to run something similar to pure Drytron.
Yeah, I've tried
Quote,
the
unquote.
pure Drytron
probably still
build.
gonna
It's
run,
very
I think, the-
interesting.
I'm probably still run Benton in it because it's still a 2+, but that's a separate thing.
Well, I mean, you may, depending on formatting, you may have to just run some Cyber Angel support because they have a lot of synergy. But yeah, it's an interesting thing. But yeah, Herald of Orange Light joins the graveyard of all the guys with the big one in the sky, including Yatagarasu, by the way, who's also still back, not doing anything. Yeah, nothing new.
Zodiac.
Look at all these fucking spell cards. We got a new member to the semi-limit list.
So have you guys seen the meme? I think there's a meme of it's malicious, and then the girlfriend he got from just being semi-limited.
I mean, I guess kind of. I don't think I've seen that specific meme, but yeah.
If I could see some odd, I'd ship it. Fuck it.
So, Recital Starling back to 2. As a semi-limit, I feel like this is just Konami doesn't want to freak anybody out. The difference between 2 and 3 Recital Starling is nothing. The main thing is 2 and 1 is big. Recital Starling is very essential for a lot of the new Lyralisk support that came out recently, and also for the Tri-Brigade Lyralisk, the Bird Up variant, which was basically killed by Recital going to 1, because 2 Recital Starling is your line to Utopic Future Draco, which, you know,
Oh.
I know he's a fucker, but, like, if you're playing an Xyz deck like that, he is usually your big end state guy. It's that or Zeus, so... Without able to play 2 Recital Starling, you couldn't really get to him, so the deck was basically dead in the water. This combined with some of the unlimit hits, it gives them some juice to come back. I don't think they're going anywhere. I know that there is like a couple of Tri-Brigade cards on the horizon. Bird Up is not going to be sweeping tournaments anytime soon. This is just like, okay, you used to be the biggest deck in the format. We had to hit you. You got scaled back. It's been like a year. You can come out of jail now. You know,
So
Konami's
there's
usually
a
I feel
safe.
like
So there's off you go.
I feel like I need a soundboard just to have that one like snoring sound guy, just to show how fucking angry I am at some cards and decks because I hate
There is a thing.
Utopic Dragon.
There is like I think like a 3-part bit here I want to put of. I think I remember something decided being at like people were gonna try Bird Up again and then be like, it reminds me of a meme sound of, so here's the answer, you play Floodgates, but then the second part is when you're playing Floodgates, it means your deck isn't good anymore.
That is kind of true.
And here's the list I'm looking forward to because these are funny cards.
Yes, this is the part where everybody was like, well, where's the funny shit? Here it is. I'm at the Unlimits. So, first of all, we've got Tellarknight Ptolemaeus.
It doesn't do anything.
A lot of people, by the way, have Ruxin, for instance, absolutely refused to try and pronounce that. Several other people tried and failed. It's Ptolemaeus. Gone from
worried about
0
other things.
to 3 right away. And Axe is correct. It will do literally nothing.
Who's gonna play Tellarknight in like?
I mean, you don't
20,
need to play
2023.
Tellarknight. I believe Ptolemaeus is any 3/4s make him. Not that there are a lot of decks that make 3/4s easily. But so this is a subtle anti-tier tech buff because Constellar Diamond, I believe, tells tier to fuck off. Because that's the one that's the anti-Shadow card, so it results from effects that are activated when sent to graveyard kind of stuff.
Yep. Right.
So
I guess you can just do like stack a bunch of things on it, but
well, remember Ptolemaeus ranks up, and I don't remember. You have to have a certain number.
You go into a 5 isn't a number.
Yeah, so that works for Diamond, and because I believe Ptolemaeus is 2+, and you need 3 to do that. It's not that hard.
Or more, you can
And
skip your opponent's next turn, but
Nobody's gonna do that. Effect.
Technically, the fuck up tier because they want to be sent to the graveyard
Yeah.
is Defizz and Macro, which is funny
Yeah.
cards to see on the.
So yes, we've had a lot of back and forths about this. Now, a lot of people, I think, I will actually once again agree with one Joseph Rothschild. A lot of people are doomsaying DeFi, and Macrocosmos to 3. Like, they're at 3 in Master Duel. How often do you see them? It's usually only in hardcore Banish decks.
Yeah.
That said, this is very funny, and as much as Loth says this is funny,
I guess I can play
I'm gonna warn everybody. Hey, do you know what the second best deck in the format is right now? Flunder. You just gave Flunder 3 macro, 3 defizz. They don't care.
That actually works better for their game plan.
Yeah.
So you said that, and I was like, had to hold back my yell.
I know.
And
there's no unlike Master Duel, there's no barrier statue hit. That would be very funny if they did that. But yeah, Loth is absolutely correct. Dimensional Fissure and Macrocosmos are absolutely, again, soft tier hits. This ban list seems like it's focused on giving people back some of the tools that could hold tier in that are restricted. So we, scale them up with Fissure and Macrocosmos. You can play 3 Dimensional Shifter. Now it's not like they're going to be able to negate your Shifter,
And the way you can tell this, because it went immediately from banned and limited to just 3.
I want you to draw them.
There's no like, okay, we're going to soft test this at 2. Like, Starling is at 2 for some ungodly reason. But these just going like, no, fuck it, 3. Metaverse also is a similar card. That is just because Mystic Mine is banned. They are like, yeah, Metaverse can be at 3 now. Like, I'm pretty sure the only reason why Metaverse was at 1 was because that was one of the ways that you can activate Mine on your opponent's turn. So as a trap card, putting it to 3 is just, yeah, fine. It's going to help field spell based decks. Now that does unfortunately include Tier. Tier's field spell is really good. I'm fairly certain that the next time a ban list comes out, that field spell is going to eat a limit or a ban. But yeah, that's just like, oh hey, we get back to 3 Metaverse. That's neat. Same with Tenki. Tenki was semi-limited for Tri-Brigade stuff because they couldn't hit the card that people actually didn't like in Tri-Brigade, which was Revolt. Revolt's the card that really makes Loth mauled and made everybody mauled. That's the one that just fucking... What's that? You get to Link Summon on my turn?
Oh, yeah. It's similar to that one field spell for Despia.
Yeah.
Not exactly, but it's just like... What's that? Fusion Summon?
Yeah.
From deck.
That was the tedious card, and because it was once again like a month old when a ban list hit, Konami wasn't in a reasonable position because they do have to make money. They have investors and licensors and shit, so... They
took the idea of side-frames and really just crammed it.
Yeah, a lot of control decks now have the ability to play on your turn, and sometimes it's not very fun. But once again, Tri-Brigade is not going anywhere. It is not coming back for a long time.
Good.
So, Tenki can come back to 3. It's not doing
I
anything.
want Tri-Brigade wiped out from existence.
I mean...
I think
why though? They're not
died.
good. They were only good in free
and they should stay not good.
Loth is really only upset about Shrek.
Yeah, and also I'm playing up my anger about it because it's funnier that way.
It's funny.
I'm more.
It's funnier to me. I get to act out.
All right, fair. I just feel worried for you.
It's a cool boy. No, it's fine.
Don't be worried.
Oosh.
If I was actually upset, I could say a lot more things and actually, do something. But, man,
Nah, it's fine.
What is actually getting upset about a piece of cardboard gonna do for me?
Look at all these banned motherfuckers. When will they come back? Some of them. Many of them never.
Fucking Kieran. Marth put the fear of Kieran into me.
It's amazing how Marth was like kind of
Kieran's
one of our best players. Weirdly enough, we just didn't really that much about it.
Marth was always a very solid middle of the road. Like, he didn't have a lot of flashy wins, but his win-loss record was always very consistent at being fairly even. Had a fairly even kill-death ratio, as opposed to the Suck Boys.
People talked about Test Loth. I feared Test Marth, because every so often we'd be testing something, and depending on how things go, I'd either come out very upset or laughing just at how fucking ridiculous it goes.
I haven't felt the...
Marth definitely, he was not really a degenerate player, but I think out of all of us, other than maybe Dallas, he was like first in the line to be like, oh yeah, this is a really busted strategy from back in the day. Can I try that? And sometimes it didn't do anything, and then sometimes he's the guy who fucking last turned me, and I did not have fun with that.
To be fair,
a literal last turn FDK.
He kept saying for weeks he wants to use the last turn deck, so we could have.
Well, I know, but it's still, yeah.
I
I was the guy who had to
Spiral,
go
and
through it, and it was
I
not.
kind of went to the place where I was like, dude, just play Spiral again. It was good.
Yeah, but he got it.
He's like,
It's
he's
fine.
like, I only want to play it once. It's like, okay, then give me your deck.
Well, he wants to try. Well, no, don't do that. That's not how that works.
Don't do that.
You see, Axe, you are obsessed with winning, even though you never needed to be because you were our most winningest player ever, and literally
well,
no
that's
one was
not
ever
true
going to catch
anymore. That's just Robin now.
you. No. You focus too much on the fact that Robin just doesn't play enough. You still have the
Robin
most wins
like, every
ever.
time he plays, he just wins most of the time. Or I
Did
guess
you
Well, he
forget
did
the amount of
decent,
times
but
Robin
also-
has lost?
Yeah, we jobbed him out a lot. He's got losses. I could show you the last set of stats. I've got them.
All right.
Am I still near the bottom?
Yeah, of course you're at the bottom. I did not lose quite so bad that I would actually drop below
I'm
you.
used
Yes.
to Robin
Sooner-
just somehow sweeping most of the time.
Sooner or later, I'll dig my way to the other side of the world. If I go down low enough.
I don't know. Like, I just know my record's just like tanking because I can't get it.
It's really not though.
You know what? Victim bias. I'm gonna call it.
Axe is bad at stats. He's all about his feelings,
It's
not
also
facts.
It's been like how many months?
Oh god, fuck you, Chris Starlight, you piece of shit.
What?
What?
Ladies, you're all ugly. ETA to Geargia talk?
Where?
It's in the chat. I think maybe because he used the word ugly, it's not showing up in my preview. It's in the live chat though.
Oh, it's a live chat. That's why.
It doesn't appreciate.
Yeah, it
no,
doesn't make it
clearly
on stream.
YouTube doesn't like Geargia be mentioned.
We're pretty close, but since Axe brought it up, I do want to remind everybody of the stats. So yes, your percentage is below Robin because he is a freak, though he does have 15 losses. He's at 41 over 15. You're still at 82 over 53. You have literally double the amount of wins that Robin does.
I've also played like twice, 3 times as much as him.
I know, but
Well,
still,
yeah, 'cause
you've
Robin
got
was a
double
new
the
addition.
wins.
Well, if Robin
And
plays as much as
he
me, I
will.
think he'd do
He
more than me.
won't catch up with. Also, Robin would win less if he played as much as we did.
Yeah.
Because
Oh, okay.
he was very sweaty and try hard because he only played every other week. The person probably closest to catching up to you is Dallas, who is 71 over 64. Marth, when we stopped, was 61 over 54, which means that him and Dallas are tied into percentage of wins. Just not the
I
same
guess that
volume.
one where it's like, man, I kind of wish I ever could have more than a single. I know this is odd saying to you two guys because you guys are like could not compare ever
69
Yes.
losses.
because
Go
I think about I think of like Dallas who's like he's fucking and Robin who keep like getting like 4 in a row streaks. It's like, damn, I wish I could do that again.
No, you're much more sporadic than that. But hey, you know who doesn't have streaks? Also, these guys.
I mean, at least we won and the format ended. So hey.
Omega, what are you talking about? We've got the greatest streaks, the lose streaks.
True.
Well, those aren't tracked. They're just known and
True.
shame.
If we
But yeah,
play
no,
by
I
golf
mentioned it.
rules,
I
I'm
am
clearly winning.
57 under 69 with a 45% win rate. Yes, I have the funny sex
I
number.
mean, you at least won with a deck because.
And Loth is 24 under 67 with a 26% win rate.
I'm fine with that.
getting
honestly.
better recently, oddly enough.
Well, yes. Loth knows as much as the rest of us that he was absolutely shitting it up for no reason, like in the GX and 5Ds era.
Yeah, and sometimes it was just literally the decks I fought were good, and also I had
So,
bad
win
card draw
cash.
luck, but that's it.
Yes, Geargia. But we're here.
Yes, let's go to Geargia.
We vamped for like 30 minutes. Well, Dallas is green now, so I don't know if he can join us. We vamped for like 30 minutes because Dallas wasn't responding
I
to
wonder what
us.
paper he's writing right now.
Yeah, he might be working on a paper.
Yeah.
College sucks, and usually they always make sure to assign you one fucking project over the Thanksgiving break.
Well, his midterms are. His thing was he's writing a paper every class, so it's like.
Well, he should be. I believe he
nothing.
said he would be past midterms, but then you got to worry about finals in like 2 months.
I said it
So-
before, but I'll say it again. Look at these boys.
Yeah. Geargia is a very fun archetype. From what we know of the... Oh, I guess I closed the tab where I had them pulled up on the Pedia. Geargia is yet another package in the Earth Machine engine. Specifically, they are best at an Xyz package.
Mm-hmm.
So they were introduced in the Xyz era to give Earth Machines access to more Xyz, formats, similar to how Karakuri was really good at giving them access to
There's
synchros.
like the weirdly fun thing of how all their Xyz are very much like you can see that it's literally the two pieces that slot into the thing to make the thing.
Well, yeah, no, they are
they're like
gears. They
battery
have
packs.
Yeah, the alleged lore from Master Duel indicates that these guys are very like
It's a 70s mecha show.
yes, very classic anime, or even like I would say
Saturday
even earlier
morning
than
cartoon.
yeah, I would say
Even
even
like a-
earlier than
even like
70s.
a-
This is like
even like a
50s and
transfor-
60s shit. Like this
It's almost
is
like a Transformers cartoon, yeah.
you and your puny Westoid cartoons. No, this is just Mega Man, which means it's just Astro Boy. There's an evil Dr. Girak, or possibly Girk,
Gilly.
who makes Wargianos, War Gears, but which we never see.
Well,
So
Wagia, I think that's more of the pun of the Japanese word for evil, I think. Like, Wa. Dark. Yeah.
I mean, I assume it's multifold. Like
Probably.
Warugiano. That is like War Gear.
So
Probably multifold, yeah.
There is also the gear. The Geargias are canonically the Gears of Justice, made by
Yes.
Professor Kurosu. So like, yeah, there's a lot of like old school, like early anime and manga vibes in this.
can I just say one thing about the vibes of just seeing all this together?
Yeah.
It gives off huge vibes of a man has fallen into the river at Lego City.
Yeah,
and they're
that's
getting ready to help him.
I'm gonna say that's another thing. Axe usually talks about like how he thinks some of these cards would fit together kind of as like a toy line. Geargia are very toyetic. Like
I was going to say, like, literally, it just is.
like yeah, the 3 Geargianos you can see in the center. Who are we talking about first? Like they are the core toys, and then you slot them into all their accessories. So let's see.
And then when
Let's
you
just
do, they do
pull up
something
my.
cooler.
Let me close
like
the
sound effects
forbidden
or like
list
different
text.
motions.
Yeah, and obviously the normal play sets are cheap, but then if you want to get Gear
armor.
Gigant XG, you gotta shell out the big money.
And
You
then
also have to
similar
get
to
by all
some,
three separately, yeah.
things, for instance, Bionicle, there'll just be that huge following.
Yeah. But so we're gonna
Also-
start with the
oh,
original boy. I'm gonna pull him on screen. It's Geargia. It's Geargiano, the original.
It's funner. It's like you can actually see like the different like plastic gears and like the center.
Yeah, I actually appreciate that little quality. How you could just see them.
Yeah, this is a card art that looks really good blown up.
I've never noticed that it's like his eyes are actually different size. I thought it was just the perspective.
No, it's not.
You
perspective.
never noticed that?
Well, Axe is right. It could have been perspective, but no, they are actually different size because they're designed to inset.
Torque gears, yeah.
I will say this one's kind of interesting because like the red and green are very obviously plastic, but they've got a lot of sheen on the gray, and I'm almost like I could almost see part of this being like die cast, especially because they have kind of a retro aesthetic. This could totally be like some metal ass gears, some kid injurers.
Oh god, yeah. Basically, it's a Beyblade.
Some
Metal blades.
child slashers.
Slatches.
Sorry, but yeah,
No,
this
it's
is
okay.
Geargiano. He is a gear.
I weirdly enough, this sounds weird to say. I really do appreciate the flimsy-looking robot arms. I just like how they.
Yeah,
look.
yeah. Those are I don't know what those are called, but those are definitely like those wire joints, like for posability.
Yeah.
I can
Like,
hear
when you
that
move them, you can hear... Yeah.
in my head. Yes.
I can also remember the mate sound because it did Rochambeau with you.
Oh yeah. Yes, this guy is also a mate. It's very adorable.
He's holding up his fist to do rock.
So clearly Konami understands what these guys are about. Also,
And
hey,
that's kinda
there's another
good.
news by the way. The mates, White Baking Mate is finally out. He does finger guns. It's hilarious.
Different food.
Yeah, you didn't see that in the image I posted? He's doing like the finger gun point, like, hey.
I didn't see it, honestly.
Alternatively, he's doing the white meme. Hence
Oh,
why
God.
I think it was Danny straight up was like, oh, hey, they added every teammate. That might have been a
Yeah.
dire tweet. I don't know. It's very funny. They added a lot of those guys who flip trick, ghost trick. Took me a while there. We've already done that. We've already done that one. So we don't. That's another solo mode we don't have to do because we did that episode already.
Good.
But yeah, Ghost Trick solo mode got added. I haven't tried it out yet. I've been playing lots of other video games I don't need to talk to you about right now. I might throw some extra factoids at the end to faff it out. But Geargia, I don't think we need to really say anything else about his appearance. He's good. He's a good guy. Very iconic singular design. So Geargia, and yes, I have to say it that way every time, is an Earth Machine, level 3, 500 attack, 1k defense. You can tribute this card, target a level 4 machine-type monster in your graveyard, special summon it, but its effects are negated. So OG Geargia is not the most important one. It's mostly the later models who are more important, but he is still part of the archetype and kind of sets up their standards. He is a machine who gets you other machines of the level 4 variety. And obviously, you can still play him as an extender because these guys have a lot of things they can do. But yeah, this is where we started. Another reason why Geargia might be popular and well-known to people, obviously they did get a structure deck, like I said, in very early Pend or very late Xyz era. This guy was just a pack filler common in Generation Force. The rest of his archetype didn't come until the next set. So this was just a cool common that they decided to make into an archetype. But there are
There's
several
the irony
versions of
of
the
how-
Geargias. Go ahead.
The cards themselves were more put up by how, honestly, the results of what the cards do held up to. I'd like to think of certain cards were really good because, like, Dragoon was good, or because, like, Geargian X is good, which is, we'll get there.
Yeah.
But
Well, it's time for Geargia Mark II. He is doing the scissors.
Yep, which is why the Maple Rochambeau they do the different things.
Yeah, there's not really
But
much
also
else to
it-
say about this appearance.
Yeah, he's giving he's giving scissors, but also a peace sign as he's winking at you.
Yeah. Or a V for victory.
That's-
This is just Geargiano again, but with the slightly different color scheme. This is a good color scheme, though. Definitely makes those outer gears look a little more plastic,
Yeah,
though they are so
this is
sparkly.
the funky one.
Yeah.
You're Michelangelo of the group.
Oh, it's the goofy one. But yeah, with no other visual comments, I don't think we can just say what his effect is. Mark II is another level 3 Earth Machine. It has 1,000 attack, 500 defense, and then its effect is when this card is normal or special summoned, special summon a Geargia from your hand or graveyard in defense position. So Mark II is the really good one.
Yes.
This is just a free extender for your archetype. And you can tell that they knew it would at least be a little bit better good because this was bumped to a rare when it came out in Return of the Duelist. So, yeah. This is your basic bitch starter card to the archetype. If you can normal this guy, you can, or flip him. There's a lot of weird pseudo flip stuff in Geargia. We'll get into a little bit later. But Mark II is just, hey, if you normal summon this guy, extension, get 2 guys. Which can be very, very handy for Xyz plays. All right. So, there is one more Geargia in this lineup. One more Geargiano. You can tell why. Though I would find it very funny. Does anybody know, is the Spock hand sign, like, copyrighted? Could we get Geargiano Mark IV, who's doing the Spock symbol, for Rock, Paper, Scissors, Religion Spock? No, wait, no. Geargiano Mark IV should be finger guns.
Gun beats everything.
Oh, wow, hold on, that was really tiny. Let me try that again. Copy that image. Please copy it embiggenated. There it is. Okay. Sorry about that. This is Mark III. He's doing paper, but he also kind of looks like he's waving at you, like, hi.
He's reaching out to give you a high five.
Yeah. I'd high
I
five
enjoyed
Geargiano
it's
Mark
like-
III.
besides, I guess, the color changes and I guess slight eye changes, there's like different internals, I think.
Different
It's the same it's the same setup of gears, but I think they show you them at different angles.
I think actually he's more bottom heavy. He's got 3 gears below, 2 gears up top, by the looks of it.
Yeah, I think it might just be the angles, you can't see those, but it's definitely like they make sure to show you different details each time. This one's also got a very solid color scheme. You've got kind of the light blue and the orange, which plays well, and then the associated yellow. And he's got very
Yellows and green.
yeah, very Halloween-y, like orange green on his arms there. Very solid.
And this time the big eye is the one giving you the wink.
Yeah. So they change it up a little. Geargia Mark III is a level 3 Earth machine. He's 1K, 1K, so kind of balancing out the all the parts. And this was a card, by the way, that was released first and only so far in the structure deck. So, you know it's very focused support. When this card is special summoned by the effect of a Geargia card, you can special summon 1 Geargia monster from your hand or graveyard in defense position, except Geargia Mark III when its effects are negated. You can use this effect of Geargia Mark III once per turn. You can't special summon monsters the turn you activate this effect, except Geargia monsters. So, yes, this is clearly meant to be an extender to get you into more Geargias. The main thing being that interesting thing where you can only summon Geargia monsters. I would say in modern Yu-Gi-Oh, that's a pretty bad type lock because Geargias on their own don't really have a good end board monster. There's no, like, busted-ass Geargia Link 3, which I'm shocked, by the way, that there is not. What do you call it? Wow, I'm really bad at remembering archetype names. The Power Ranger archetype. I can only think of Magnus, King of the Computer. Damn it, Dallas.
Yeah. Fuck. Why am I forgetting? It's like there's different layers, and it was like, fuck.
I can remember Alpha, and I can't remember what that archetype is called. Chat will remind me in a second. But
why am I'm blanking?
Okay, thank you, filthy casual.
Super Quantals.
yes, thank you, Super Quants. Yeah. Those guys got a Link retrain. It kind of makes sense because they like multiple Xyz monsters, but still. But Geargia did not, which is funny. But yeah, so these guys are pretty cool, but it's definitely this is a very card you have to activate very carefully. Like they do have a payout, but it's not quite the same considering this card was this guy specifically Mark III was first printed in 2014. Also hasn't been reprinted in a while. Konami, give me some of those Wargianos and like reprint Mark III.
I mean, considering how like there are like the I guess the bootlegged dark Machinas. Or
Yeah, the illegally boot up device ones.
Yeah, the illegal Machinas. I don't want to say that because it sounds like something else.
The dark Machinas, because they are
Dark
dark type.
Machinas. They could do the same thing with like
Probably.
Geargia.
So let's see what exciting exciting accessories you can get for Christmas for your Geargias.
This is what you actually want to see in your hand most.
This is the first of their blobs of support. This is Geargia Accelerator. Geargia Accelerator? We don't double up on the A, so this is not 100% sure. But it's your boy Geargiano in a car. The car has gears.
He's powering the bike. He's powering the car.
Yeah.
You can see the gears in like the front motor.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring that up once again. Very, very toyetic. Like I can see the commercial right now, right? Buy our new Geargia set, Geargia Accelerator.
It's also I would just see it in the. It would probably just be in like the intro animation. You know?
Yeah. Other than that, it's a car. Very bright, colorful colors. You know. Very fluid. It's very clearly Mark I in there.
It's on a racetrack.
Yeah. Decent background work. Excessive amounts of speed lines and speed blur, but that's the point. Next thing you know, that we talk about Speed Racer. No, they gave him a number 1 because it's Mark 1. No, yeah, I don't have a lot to add about the visual of this. It's just another solid design.
In it, like, what else? Besides this art is usually the more important bit, honestly, about this card. Oddly enough.
Well, the art is always what's important. But this batch of the Geargia somethings, the little accessories, that kind of brings us to the thing that the other thing that Geargias are good at, which is rank 4 machine spam. Because obviously the Gear Boys are 3, but several of these forms are, I think most of them are, if not all of them, are 4. So you've got multiple plays in mind. So, Geargia Accelerator is a level 4 Earth machine. It has 1400 attack, 800 defense. If you control a Geargia monster, you can special summon this card from your hand in defense position. When this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, target a Geargia monster in your graveyard except Accelerator, add it to your hand. That second effect has more synergy with some of their other effect monsters and their spell traps. Obviously, Xyz materials don't go from field to graveyard, though they do get sent to graveyard. So you're not always going to be pulling that one off, but in our, modern status, if you happen to be doing other lines, not just Xyz summoning, but also perhaps making, Earth Machine Link monsters, or your Syncering or something, that can trigger Accelerator, so it's a very flexible card. And it is just what a lot of rank 4 decks need. It's just an extender. It's a free extender. Do you have a Geargia? You can special. With Mark 1 being able to fetch a level 4 machine exactly, that means it's really easy to normal summon Mark 1, special Accelerator, tribute Mark 1, regular Geargiano, get back a level 4 machine if you sent it for some reason. The primary thing is just getting your graveyard set up, but there are other cards that will help you with that. Alright, so yes. Actually, while I'm pulling up the next card art, I will also double-check top decks. I didn't check how popular. I know, fan-wise, they're a pretty popular engine. There really almost aren't enough Geargia cards to be running a pure deck. You usually play some other...
You have to run a few other things. And there were other names I was going to bring up once we got to, other cards, because that makes more sense when they're, their effects, but...
Oh, did I miss out on the racing car?
Oh, yeah. Did you step away? Yes. We just got past
step away.
Geargia Accelerator.
That's alright.
Look at this boy.
Yeah, this is Geargia Armor.
He's weird, but he's kind of important. He's actually really important, really nice.
Okay, yeah. So about when the structure deck came out, Pure Geargia and Karakuri Geargia, which we talked about in the Karakuri episode, had a lot of proper play. Obviously, people started specifying Pure Geargia, I think, about the time that the structure deck came out. There are also, because this would have been around hat format, there are also some hand Geargia, because again, that's a rank 4 deck, and even some Geargia Trap Tricks decks that made top cuts. Yeah, Pure Geargia got some high places. We're looking at some seconds and a lot of runner-ups. In 2014, at Nationals in Germany, Pure Geargia was second place. So this was a very respectable deck right about until late 2014. What possibly could have come out that made Geargia obsolete?
Dracula was earlier.
Actually, what was that? What format was technically after hat format?
That Dracula was 2012.
No. This should still be post Dragon Ruler. I'm trying to remember what it was, because it wasn't. Was it Shadal format? I can see these guys not spicy. Is it BA? The BA format?
Looking at this guy, all I can think of is that.
Yeah.
Was it when Lucky was playing Mega Man X2? That little mech he'd hop in.
Yeah, that's definitely. I talked before. This archetype has a lot of weird Mega Man vibes. This is definitely one of those. Obviously, this is an armor you plug in, and he gets to hold the little shields. But he's got those little gears all the way down to the feet. I like his little sweat drop of what the fuck am I doing?
I'm gonna hold all this up with my tiny noodle arms.
I've never noticed the sweat drop. Damn.
Some things you only really notice when you're blown really, really far.
It can
up.
also just be. It's very steamy.
It's also an industrial power plant or something.
Yeah, it's at the old chemical plant or something. Probably where all the steam is coming from.
What you don't know, Phoenix Riders, I burned off the fingerprints at the chemical plant.
But there's a lot of little detail here. I like how not only do we have our gear aesthetic, but notice how everything here is like bolted on properly. Like we made sure to draw the 4, you know, all the little connectors. Very solid.
I really do appreciate the hand grips on the inside of the shield.
Yeah.
It's just nice to see.
There's a lot of good attention to detail in this card art,
Yes.
which we don't always get.
There's also gears in like the joint legs through the.
Yeah, I mentioned that earlier. They got the gears going all the way down. So it explains, like, kind of how, like, obviously,
How it moves.
yes, all of these are supposed to have a reason why plugging the gear in works. So that means that the Geargiano Mark II there can turn his gear and make the legs move. And obviously he can swing his little dumb arms. Geargia Armor is an interesting card. It is another level 4 Earth Machine. It has 1100 attack and 1900 defense. Once per turn, you can change this card to face down defense position. When this card is flipped face up, add a Geargia monster from your deck to your hand except armor. So, a defense mode searcher with an interesting kind of reset effect. You know, a lot of our usual searching type thing. Obviously, like in modern Yu-Gi-Oh, this is way too slow. And it's not like a flip effect monster, but it does work like that because it's just whenever he's flipped faced up. So there are, you know, a decent number of ways that works. But it's still a little slow to get your search. There's probably better ways that you can search. Hell, there are definitely better ways in Archetype you can technically get out there and do the thing. But still a decent body. Could probably use some, you know, some soft retrains. Funny enough, this was one of the Primo cards back in the day. Armor was a super rare. They really thought you'd be flipping out here.
That's kind of. It's weird how, like. Or. I don't know the best way to phrase it, but there's other cards that work like this within Geargia, and I feel like it's meant to be a design aesthetic. That like, if it's flipped down, there's no gear in it. Flipped up, there's a gear in it.
The Yugipedia has, like, a way of characterizing, like, half of the monsters as, like, pseudo-flip monsters. Or, like, a third, technically. There's a couple different combos. But, yes, there are several of them that work on pseudo-flip effects. It's something that really doesn't help the archetype anymore these days. Back in the hat-style days, that's probably pretty funny, because your opponent would probably be pretty wary about flipping up cards that are potentially, you know, Ice Hand or Fire Hand. But we'll scooch on to the next one. Geargia Arsenal. This is the last of our initial wave of support in Return of the Duelist. Yeah.
He's just going insane.
Yeah. I gave him a lot of extra stuff. I like this. He's got his hands are upgraded on the back of the armor there. I think he even, like, popped his original hands off to fit his little ball joints in there, which is kind of neat. But he's got a drill on a gear. He's got a clamp on a drill. He's got a lot of extra gears to turn those little tank treads. And, like, on the one hand, looking at this, I look at those cannons and I'm like, those don't do anything. They're probably just toys. Except that top one has kind of like a weird lip. I almost imagine if you can, like, stick a single gear in the top of it and it shoots out like a saw blade.
A harpoon. Actually,
Something
looking
like
at these make me think of, like, something like a Lords of Battle Dragon.
Yeah.
Got the 3 bells on his back. But also, with all the destruction and explosions going on in the background, it just makes me look like he's going on a fucking rampage.
Yeah, it's very funny. Like, there's a lot of extra detail. Like, there's explosions, fire, plumes of smoke. There's some trees and stuff in the background. But, like, looking at just Arsenal's general design, visually, like, it just gives me joy. It's like, oh, look at this little guy. It'll be so fun.
Yeah.
It's definitely got those kinds of, like, track gears where you roll it back and then it goes forward, you know? But also this motherfucker going to war.
It's a fun design, honestly. That's all I can say. Because it's creative, where you can see the gears leading from him all the way down to just the lower treads.
Yeah. And it all kind of works together. There's a lot of creative visual
It
design
reminds
in
me
these
of
guys.
like Lego Technic, where you actual like vehicles and
Yeah, the more
together.
hardcore Lego stuff where you gotta
It's
actually
got
do
the,
some mechanics.
And you can get the real feel for how, like, Saturday morning cartoon vibes this is, with, like, basically the tokusatsu explosions behind him.
It's got some core explosions, yeah.
He does kind of look like he's in a quarry. But anyway, so Stat-wise, Geargia Arsenal is level 4, 1500 attack, 500 defense. This card gains 200 attack for each Geargia monster you control. You can tribute this card, special summon a Geargia from your deck and defense position, except Arsenal. So this is still pretty solid. There's a reason why this guy was reprinted a couple of times in the Structure deck and in the Astral pack. Technically, the 200 attack gain is very low, but Geargia is a swarming archetype, so you could hypothetically get some mileage out of that. I can see why they included it. My chair's still really creaky. I noticed that the other day with one of the streams we did. Should work on looping that up. But the main thing is just you contribute him to get a Geargia from your deck and defense position. And it's any Geargia, and it's not negated, so like there's a lot of stuff you can string together for that.
Yeah.
So Arsenal's still a very solid card. Summon from deck, good.
Don't worry, Omega. If you want the sound of your squeaky thing to be covered up, I could quite literally just turn my fan on.
No, it's
Oh,
okay. It's just something that like I occasionally notice. I'm like, oh, my chair's a little squeakums. So our next card I'm pulling up is not technically in the archetype, but it is also in the archetype. So, and this is kind of why I think some of them, Geargia's got some problems with some of them effects about type locking you. Because it's time for the boy, the guy you know, a guy I feel like we had to limit several times in our series. Because he does a lot. It's Geargia X. And you obviously, even though he is not a Geargia monster, you can tell he's related because Mark 1 and Mark 2 are sitting right there in his chest.
It's also, I think, got the word Geargia in it. It's just space.
Yeah, it ends with int. You know those commoner shades.
Yeah, but also I would say in the Japanese as well, it doesn't work either.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, they don't have the space, but it's still spelled differently, so it's not, because the Geargias are Gia in Japanese. Oh my god, somebody's phone is blowing the fuck up.
Yeah, it's me. Why is my phone going off? Sorry.
Who is trying to get a hold of you? Like you
No.
could argue that it's not Geargia, but it's Gear, because it's Gia. The way Geargigan X is spelled is Gia Giganto. So it's Gia, G-I, and then the G for Ganto. So it's still not in the archetype because its name doesn't match up exactly. So them using the space in English keeps that correct. But yeah.
The funniest thing about this to me is just when you look at the legs and arm joints, and just like those are just yo-yos. Those are just yo-yos stuck on there.
Yeah, and I want to say, I hate to ruin this for anybody, but the perspective on this joint is really weird. Like, I feel like they're supposed to be circular, but this one's then oval-shaped.
I think a lot of like the actual like bigger part of the legs and arms are actually oval shaped. Yeah.
It's hard to tell. Like, this one looks too much like a weird olive to me. I'm like, his legs look a little squishied. I will say that the artist definitely thought a lot about his potential posability. Like, look at he's got ball joints in the legs and arms and stuff, so he can do a lot. I know all you nerds out there, you know your thing about your Gunpla. It's kind of like that, where you got a lot of flexibility in your joints at your higher levels.
I also appreciate, this may sound dumb, but it looks like he's fighting something underneath an overpass, so
Yeah.
it looks like a typical tokusatsu set.
Mhm.
Just fight underneath that.
Yeah.
Underneath like the highways.
Yeah. Or a bridge.
Also, I will say that still adds to the toyetic aesthetic because, wow, I said that really fast. That should be the name of our series. You can also, like, it looks like a real-life highway, but you could also totally sell this as, like, a playset, Hot Wheels style. Buy
like
Geargia
Geargia
X
set.
with our Overpass playset. Use Geargia Accelerator to go fast and become the Gear Gigant. I do like a lot of details though. Like, you'll notice how he's got the gear on his left arm like a shield, and then he's just punching with the other one.
Yep.
There's
Actually punching.
there's a horizontal gear like right here to give him a waist joint so he can pivot his waist. You know.
Yeah. and just slightly above that horizontal gear as well. It looks like he could just literally bend 90 degrees.
Yeah, he can bend his waist too. Lots of really good detail here. Very solid. Like I said, I think the legs are a little like weirdly squishy to me. But overall, it's a good design. He's a solid guy, and there's the Geargianos right here.
Yeah, as for you just sitting there like, we don't know what we're doing.
But yes.
Spin harder.
It's also very funny that they're there because those two guys literally can't make him. Unless there's a level fixing card I don't remember later.
The trap card.
Oh, yeah. Yes, you're right. Yeah, but for the most part, they don't do that. And like I said, with Mark III, this card is not
Also
technically
the quick play
compatible.
spell, I think.
But Geargia X is a level or rank 4 Earth Machine Xyz. It has 2300 attack and 1500 defense, so its stats are a little bad for a rank 4. Obviously, you know, we set ourselves to the Utopia standard. But it's any 2 level 4 machine monsters, so it is not archetype locked. Once per turn, detach a material from this card, add a level 4 lower machine monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand. When this face-up card leaves the field, target a level 3 lower Geargia monster in your graveyard, special summon it. So it is still related to the archetype. It does let you basically, when this guy gets defeated, the Geargianos pop out of him and back onto the field. The primary thing is this just lets you search other shit for more resource loops. Works very well with a lot of, you know, classic gadget resource loops that people are very familiar with.
Yeah. They basically just go, abandon ship.
Yes. Tin Goldfish is another popular rank 4 spam deck card that is a machine.
This may sound like it's coming out of left field, but a card I would love to see purely just for shits and giggles is something along the lines of Ancient Geargia.
Yeah, I'm kind of shocked they never did that.
No, but
We shoehorned a weird like gadget crossover for Ancient Gears. They should totally do
It
an
would just
Ancient
be-
Gear.
it would
yeah,
just
there's
be-
also boot ups. Yeah,
But it'd just be funny, is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I
no,
mean,
they,
it
for
would
the
be-
lulz, they should just do
because
that.
honestly, they're. I feel like they even could make the dumb bit of like the WoW gears are also ancient gears.
I mean, yeah, the Ancient Gears are very warlike. Or you could just set it up that, like, you know, Dr. Kurosu of gear technology studied the Ancient Gears. But, like, that...
There-
A Geargia monster that had Ancient in front of it would also be an Ancient Gear monster, so...
Yeah,
that
ancient
would be...
Geargia.
Yeah, that's... You only need the one bridge, and then you could come up with some other bullshit. Because, like... Ancient Gears don't, you know, have any, like, Xyz plays. They're, you know, mostly fusion-based thanks to Arc V.
Yep.
Though they do have a very useful Link monster. And obviously you can make Geargia X in a, Ancient Gear deck. Because you can search
Yeah.
4s and lowers. Very handy way to get guys. And you have several level 4 monsters at your disposal. But yeah, it's just... Loth is correct. It's a very funny thing that they haven't ever done, and I would love to see some kind of, you know, dumb stuff like that.
I guess kind of spoil it. You also run ancient gear cards in a Geargia deck because you search box with a card later. So
Well, yeah. Anytime you
Yeah.
can search box, you can do things.
Geargia and Earth Machine, good things to throw together.
also they would just run gold and silver gadget because it's good for rank 4 machine stuff.
Well, yeah, the gadget
I think
retrains
everyone
are
here
also...
knows that very hard because I think I've traumatized them with those cards.
Well, yeah, it's a very good resource engine. It's very hard to do
Yeah,
with
you
in a
drove it
limited
into
format.
the ground after you drove us into it.
So
mean,
let's
the ground
talk
is- the
about a
ground is
couple of the
very-
cards that come out in the structure deck that give them some extra spice. First is Geargia Attacker.
Yes!
This is the Fighter Jet expansion.
Oh yeah, I remember like in the solo mode where they added some animation to this, and it's like he's like losing his shit.
That's the best part about this, yeah.
Yeah. It's so funny to see Mark III just in the jet plane version, and he's just like, too fast.
I shouldn't be up here.
I see I remember the bit of. There's a weird joke of, in my mind at least, of how the flip monsters are very much when they're flipped down, they're on standby. When they're flipped on, a Geargia is inside them, so they're now doing shit very rapidly.
Well, it definitely
So
goes to
he
the
just
gears.
hopped in and immediately went. Just went
It immediately.
Though I am
destroys
kind of
buildings,
curious. I
aka
will say,
self-trap.
I do want to say, design-wise, well, again, I get the toy aesthetic here. This, I will say, I'm not really sure how the gears are supposed to go in. I guess they maybe turn the turbines, but
If
you can
look
only
at it-
see a little bit of the gears in the front bubble window, so I feel like they've lost some
Yeah.
of the aesthetic. It's still like
But,
really
you know-
neat with the bright colors.
when you think about it in some way, with like a jet, how could you do a gear aesthetic with that? It's a bit difficult unless
it's
you want to
true.
pull like something similar to ancient gear, just have exposed gear joints, which would also not be very good in the air.
Yeah. Like I said, I think it might be supposed to like turning the turbines, but I don't know. It's a little bit of a weird one. They do have motion blur on
it's
those
just-
turbines.
The greatest thing here, as per usual, is just him with the swirly eyes.
Yeah.
I didn't notice
Having
that until
some
it was blown up.
Gigataka. So this is a level 4 Earth machine, again with a lot of the Geargia somethings. This one has 1900 attack, 100 defense. Once per turn, you can change this card to face down position. When this card is flipped face up, destroy a number of spell traps on the field equal to the number of Geargia monsters you control. Honestly, at this stage, attacker almost should have just been a vanilla. Having a 1900 beater in your deck is probably okay for Geargias, especially because they do have the ability to swarm a little bit. I get where they're going with the flip effects. There's a lot better ways to get spell trap pops, even still during this
I
time.
feel like some of them, like I feel like armor, that one's kind of okay, but I feel like
Yeah,
they should have done it.
with
they should
armor's-
have done it as like a once per turn effect. You just activate it, or
Yeah.
if it's used as material, they should have done that.
Like armor is a defender, so it makes sense for you to like you can flip him face down. When he's flipped up, he searches, and your opponent has to like figure out a way to deal with him. And even if they can just run him over, you just put him face down in defense position, and
At least get a card out
then
of it.
you get to, because it's whenever he's flipped up. So
I remember attacker. It should have been like
yeah, attacker probably should not have been a
It's like-
pseudo flip, especially
yeah,
with
'cause,
the
like,
stat
the
line.
other one was like Arsenal was like a tribute to summon kind of thing. So you cycled through that. But
Yeah. Like,
even then
honestly,
it
if Geargia was tribute another... A Geargia attacker was tribute another Geargia to destroy a spell trap, that would probably be okay. Because you need graveyard setup
The
sometimes.
thing was, it wanted to be where I think it was DC of how fast it's going. So you go, how many gears you have on the board, pop more things. But
Yeah, but it's still... It's a little too flavorful. Even so, he's still a
I think
19
at this day, I think at this day and age, like when this came out, they didn't have many of the effects we would expect it to have. If you know what I mean? Like they didn't.
I mean,
really
this was
have
still
is used as
2014.
material.
Oh, yeah, that. There were not a lot of monsters that actually let you stack material effects. There were a couple, but
Yeah.
it was much rarer.
So I think that like if they were to re-release a new Geargia
the
effect monster now,
appropriate version of that is you would say if this card is sent to the graveyard, not say from field, that would mean that if it was detached, pop a spell trap. That would have been pretty spiced. That might have been a little strong for the time. Like we said, Geargia Karakuri, even before, because this was in the structure deck, even before that came out, with like one wave of support in Geargia and X, Geargias were already good as like an engine. And
remind me, does it scale off how many machines are on board or how many gear are on
how
board?
many Geargia monsters you control.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, like,
It's not
technically,
too
with
bad.
the way they swarm, you could set it up to get, 3 or 4 pops. Well, it's other Geargia, too, so you probably more like 2 or 3, but still. That said, it's still very, very slow and complex, especially for a card that has a stat line that has a 1900 attack and a 100 defense, almost at 1k. Like,
Feels
you
like
probably
if
want to
it's
be
like
normal
face down,
summoning
it-
this guy to punch.
It's really way to get like. It only feels like you want to be able to special summon it face down and then flip back up on the turn. to
Yeah,
summon
and I
it,
don't
but
think you've
yeah.
got a lot of good ways to special summon face down. I know it has the once per turn flip, but it's not. The way changing battle position works is very, very clusterful. But yeah, no. There were still plenty of ways they could have spiced this. Maybe they didn't want to make it too good for giving you spell trap pops, considering, like I said, Geargia was a popular engine and the structure deck made pure Geargias possible. But yeah, so they gave us another couple of these funny boys to go with the fact that Mark III was released in the structure deck. So our next one is Geargia.
This one is. I'm not sure if it's good, but it works, I guess.
it is an auger.
Well, we got a drill. He's got the tank treads. Obviously, because it's Mark III, we got to have the extra funny thing.
He's getting hit by debris.
He hit himself in the head when he's trying to block with his other arm.
Three just never has a good time.
The little shovel arms are kind of cool. Otherwise,
bit
it's
is,
just
like,
a big, green
The
drill.
weird thing is, like, 3 is also the one that like had, like, I guess, like, drove all the vehicles, but he's also the one that was not needed for like their first mech. So I weirdly see it as like he was the dude that got all the weird grunt work until he was needed for the new one. Feels
Yeah,
like
I think we talked about it a little even in the solo mode. Like the first Geargia, the first mech only needed 2 guys, and then we came up with the Mark III when that wasn't more powerful enough. But yeah, here we go. I do find it kind of interesting. This one says 0-5. I think it is actually technically their 5th non-Geargiano monster. Where's my list? Accelerator, armor, arsenal, attacker, augur. Yeah, so this would be the 5th monster.
And they've got the 5 there.
Yeah.
To really show it off.
So kind of funny. Not
I,
a lot otherwise to say about Drilly here.
well, just a few design things I would like to mention. One,
Go for it.
As you can kind of see, you've got the flaps inside the auger itself to hide like where the gear goes, where the shovel hands come out of. But if you look just between them, it looks like they've got a bit of an exposed gear itself, or gear-like thing, which is a pretty neat thing. In addition, I just also appreciate you got the treads, but if you look just on the little platform with the treads, it's got the thing where it basically just pushes up, so it just angles the auger.
Yeah, he's got some pistons and some slats to like move it
So-
around.
It's nothing major. I just appreciate how it's like, yeah, this looks really functional for.
Yeah,
whatever it
all
is,
of the Geargia
they're all
monsters have a
designed
lot
for-
of detail work.
They're all designed like, I guess, how to put it, like Nerf guns, where it doesn't have a power source. In most cases, it doesn't have an internal power source. You have to, like, the external motion usually what makes it do everything.
But still, what I'm saying is it has a lot of detail. Like, there's a lot of those extra
Oh, yeah.
thought in those steps. So
And,
Geargia augur...
and also,
Good.
sorry. Well, it's also the arms coming out are still made of the same arm material.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
still the noodly arms.
It's just his arms are bigger. So Geargia augur is another level 4 Earth Machine. It's got 500, 500. When this card is normaled, add a level 4 Earth Machine type monster from your deck to your hand, except Augur. Also, you can't declare attacks nor special summon monsters, except Machine type monsters for the rest of this turn. When this came out in the Structure deck, this was an Ultra. This was one of the chase cards in the Structure deck, and it was reprinted in the re-release of the Machina Structure deck as well. This card is good if you're going first. When you can't declare an attack anyway, this lets you get a lot of extra setup with your guys.
Well, you can still attack with machines, so it's like, if you're doing a mostly machine deck, it's not that bad, but it does limit you depending on the board you're with, so, yeah.
Running this guy in a
No, I don't think you can
machine
declare
deck-
attacks with period with this monster.
I thought it was machine lock.
You cannot declare attacks, comma, nor special summon monsters except machine type monsters the rest of this turn. Those are separate clauses.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So, yeah.
It could be interesting depending on how you're trying to play. Like,
Yes.
I'm not sure how much control you could do with a Geargia deck, but
I believe
if you,
you
want
can
to
do
do
a
that
little.
and then use this guy as
Combo deck,
tribute.
really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, not tribute materials, but yeah, no, it's a good card. It's a niche card, but good. for its
It gives
niche.
them their Stratos effect, which was the kind of thing that like Armor was pretty slow about. So this giving them the just when you're normal, you add a level 4 Earth Machine, except Augur. So that's pretty solid, and because it is not specifically Geargia's, that is like very open-ended, right? There's a lot of decks that supports. So it's a fairly solid card. I think it's been kind of its restrictions about attacks and stuff have been fairly outmoded. But it's still very, very decent. So we've got our next extra deck boy, and technically for now the remaining boss of the archetype. This is Geargia Gear Gigant XG.
Yes, the
Getting
guy
some
who looks like
real anime extra name stuff.
Yeah, the final version of the Megazord.
Yeah.
I really
So you got
like
ones,
it, even
2s, and
though-
3s here. You can
the
see all
thing
3 of
about-
them in his chest.
Yeah, wait, actually, if you look at some, sorry to interrupt. If you look at some design, it is just they took a bunch of their things and put it together. You
Yeah.
see the previous XE's monster. You see the treads from
Yeah.
the
And he's got
weapon
he's got Gear Gigant X's back gear as his shield now. He's got some back treads like Arsenal, I think, and he's got some extra
And-
fleas.
yeah, you see a 1 with the shield, you see a 3 with that. Maybe that's
Oh yeah, it's
some
like
correlation.
it's like
Yeah.
attacker and like it's so it is just like
Yeah, this
all
is
of
just
them
you
together.
combo all the toys together. Still pretty solid. I will say I feel like he's lost the ability to move his waist a lot.
Yeah.
And I don't know what these red gears on the side are attached to. Like,
I was gonna.
are they on the green side gear?
Yeah, I was
think
gonna
so,
say
yeah.
they're
I
probably.
think they're just like welded there.
Yeah.
They're like what is it, waist armor?
It's still like got a lot of good detail, and I really enjoy this. There's a couple of weirdnesses, but it's overall it's pretty good. And it's got very practical stuff, like he's got the extra, wheels down here, and treads, so he can still like move around and stomp around and stuff. Very fun.
So, very similar to how I remember some Power Ranger stuff working when they get the extra color boy in. You've got the Geargia 3 being in the middle,
Yeah.
front and center.
Yeah, because he's basically the delayed arrival character. Like,
Well, he
Yeah.
is. He didn't come out until the structure after this one. Sorry, I yawned. So yeah, this is Geargia Gear Gigant XJ, so it's Geargia. Or in Japanese, this is Gia. Literally the Gia 3 times, so Gia. Kurosu Giganto. So cross Gigant. I don't know why they went with Gigant XG then. I guess because the original was X.
and cross.
Yeah, I know.
kinda
They did that,
similar.
but I'm like, I don't know why they went with the XG. But yes, so also, if you're wondering, that's, Kurosu is in Dr. Kurosu, so Dr. Cross. So, this is the primary card you're going to be making with the Mark III setup, because this is a rank 3 Earth machine. Has 2,500 attack, 1,300 defense, and you're wondering, oh, this stats seem pretty good for a rank 3. Yes, because it is, while it's generic, it is 3 level 3 monsters. So obviously you're supposed to somehow figure out how to use your Geargiano combos to get all 3 of them on the board and make this guy. During either
Yes.
player's battle step, when an attack involving your machine-type monster is occurring, you can detach 1 Xyz material from this card and negate the effects of all face-up cards your opponent currently controls, and also your opponent can't activate cards or effects. So it has like an extra spicy Armades, or it would be Armades over like an Ancient Gear Golem type effect. There are other
Yes.
cards that negate your face-up monsters and attacking, but I cannot remember what the most common of them is. But yes, so
And-
this is detach 1 to negate all face-up monsters and card effects. Also, by the way, that's a permanent
Yeah.
for the
and
for the
also-
damage step. You negate
And also,
it always.
you just can't attack. You can't activate effects. So, say for instance, a Scrap Iron Scarecrow. Can't
Yeah,
be
so
done.
it blocks battle effects on both sides, and
not
it lets
good,
you
but it
negate their effects for the
defeats
stage.
it defeats Jank.
No, it
It
defeats lots of
Jank,
things.
And also, like this guy could be over.
Also,
like,
I don't know what the battle step covers, but I believe this stops floating.
floating. It
Maybe?
also stops honest collude.
Yeah, it stops all battle tricks. Period. It stops any kind of like reactionary effect. Like you can't DD Warrior Lady this because that's in a battle step. I think it stops
Yeah.
some kinds of floating effects.
Yeah, it says until the end of the damage step, so yeah.
No, well, the
Oh,
text
wow.
on my end says during either player's battle step.
Yeah, this is just.
Oh, these. Sorry, the next
ability
statement we
ruins.
didn't get to was these effects last until the end of the damage step.
Yeah.
When this face-up card leaves the field, you can target one other Geargia card in your graveyard, add it to your hand. So it also floats itself. So, also, funnily enough, this does counter flip effect monsters as well, because your opponent
Yeah.
cannot activate their flip effects. So it's a decent card. I don't think it's decent enough to be like the only boss monster in a Geargia deck, but for a card that came out in their structure deck, very solid addition. Also, by the way, this guy hasn't got any reprints in a while. I wonder if they're gonna retrain the Geargia structure deck someday.
I mean,
Probably not for a little bit. It was only 2014 that it came out. You probably gotta wait another couple of years.
I'm just curious, like, how long before, like, when they did random side hits, Machina stuff. Machina had support, like, consistently over time.
Well, yes, but also they did have a structure deck, and they retrained that structure deck like 10 years later. And then they also, continued some of their other themes, like Ruin Force and stuff. There is the 6th main deck boy. Came out a little bit later. So we'll pull that one up next. And then we'll talk about the spell traps, because those are... there's only like 2 of them. But this is Geargianker. You can tell it's the
I
6th.
forget about him.
This one came out quite a bit later. Yeah, this one was in 2016, Shining Victory. So this is mid-penned format. Or late pen format, technically. Yeah. The Shining Victories is where Crystal Wing Synchro was the cover card.
I had to look closer. It is Mark 1 in there.
Yeah, it's a little hard to tell, but he does have the silver
It just
gear.
looks like he's sweating a little bit.
Yeah, he seems a little nervous about being in his little bubble cart. But there's some funny sub stuff, like you can see the gears turning for the propellers. It does have an anchor. Maybe that's why he's sweating, because he's trying to turn the gears while he's got the anchor down.
Yeah.
It's like, wait a second.
I like his little
Yeah,
like
also-
claw machine
Oh,
grabby
forever.
hands.
Oh, Loth,
The
we're
claw.
stuck. Loth, why are we this? We're still in this. Why are we still partying together? Fuck.
The claw.
Oh,
So
yeah.
You know what? We'll tell you
Aw.
later.
Well, Axe and I were doing some shenanigans in 14, and it's like, why isn't Axe getting into levels? Oh, I'm in the party with him. I need to leave.
You guys and your side gigs while we're doing things. Anyway.
Yep.
Yeah, anchor. Did I close that tab? I did. I did not close the Shining Victories tab, and I closed the Geargia Anchor tab. Yeah. Unfortunately, Axe, probably the reason why you forget this one is because he's not good.
That's what I thought. I thought so. 'cause it's
By
like,
the
I
time he
vaguely
came
recall
out in
this
the
thing,
Pen
but I don't
era,
remember what it
it's not
does.
good. Anchor is
remember-
another level 4. It's got 1800 attack, 500 defense. It's another flip one, so once per turn you can change the face down defense position.
It's sorted by Augur at least.
If it's flipped face up, destroy monsters on the field equal to the number of other Geargia monsters you control. So it's basically attacker, but for monsters.
Yes, but
Keep in mind, again, this came out in the same set that Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon came out in.
as I was going to say, like against how many negates on board already? So is it going
Yes,
to do
against
anything anyway?
negates, or again, this is we're getting into pretty peak pendulum format. Oh no, you destroyed 4 monsters. Woe is me. Anyway, pen summon?
In a
Pen
way,
5?
yeah.
I'll say
Five.
this. It's a card that, effect-wise, when it came out, not effective. I just like the design of this card.
No,
because
it's kind of
adorable.
sad because this is a once again so much detail in the Geargia monsters, and there's even like extra detail. Look at these fucking background fish. There's a pretty
Yeah.
good drawing of like a turtle and some other tropical fish back here.
Look how good the effect coming from the turbines looks like.
I wish you knew who this
Just
artist
the
was.
way it
'cause, like,
moves
he's
Yeah.
really, really good.
And like they've got the sun effect on the water surface and the like light playing across the bottom. Like so
You
much
can see some
detail.
reflection coming off of the like on the boat itself. You can see the water reflection coming
Yeah,
off
they've
of
got
it
the
from
water
the sun.
patterns. It's so terrible that this is on a card that
So, like,
probably
this is going
wasn't
to be
good
like
when
a
it came
5
out.
It's like a 5%er, but this really reminds me of the thing about. It was a meme and like Lace to Funk thing about how as artists are being like, a lot of companies have it where you're all one group. You don't have a name to them. It's like, I really honestly want to know who the person who drew this, or I guess
Yeah, I'd be curious. But
It's like- it
let's
reminds me of that whole
talk
thing.
some.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Yeah, it's a really good one.
Yeah. There's like barely any that you really actually know the artist.
another
behind.
name and it's a 4. So
Like Trap Tricks, you know the guy because he actually posted stuff on multiple sites.
Oh yeah.
So let's talk spell traps. This is an important one. This is Geargia Gear, all one word,
It's
or just again Geargia.
so that's the. It's their deployment vehicle toy, but it's also the armor
Yeah.
for XP.
Yeah, this is how we carry carry Gigan X, and then also we get to launch all our shit. And you can see arsenal,
Guns there.
armor, accelerator. You know, this is the carrier toy they sold you for like $120.
And if you
Gigan
actually
X.
look at it, the carrier will help form the big version.
Yeah.
Because it's got the 1, 2, it's got the treads.
Yeah, it's got the
Yeah,
back
that's what I was
treads.
saying,
Yeah, that X is saying
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Yes. So yeah, it's
Okay, my bad.
it gives you XG. So yeah, no, this is neat. Though, like I said, it does also give me like childhood trauma flashbacks to seeing all the fucking really cool shit in commercials, and you're like, I cannot afford that. I could get that exactly at my birthday or Christmas,
I know that feeling.
It's
and never
Yeah,
any
no,
other
I-
time.
I remember my sister got pissed off at me because one of our birthdays I got the Hot Wheels toy where you put a Hot Wheels car in it and it launches them at high speeds and it happens to hit her right in the toenail.
Ow.
Oh,
Ooh,
It's
But
like
yeah,
being,
no,
it's like being
it's
handled Lego Couch
it's
Drop.
very funny that back in the day, like it was much more accessible for me on my allowance to save up for like video games, often pre-owned video games. Thank you, GameStop.
Yes.
You've done a lot for me. But like
Many people then.
yeah.
as opposed to like buying a fun video game was way more accessible than buying these big ass toy sets sometimes. But no, Geargia Gear is a very important card. It is their trap card. It is a normal trap. Special summon 2 Geargiano monsters from your deck. Increase their levels by 1. You can only activate 1 Geargia Gear per turn. So this is how you would get to the level fixing I talked about earlier. So you can actually make a Gigan X with the Geargianos. You know, giving you some fun stuff. Works really well with the way Gigan X is phrased, where he lets you target a level 3 Geargia monster. He lets you get them back, so you can level fix them, make X. If X goes away, you get to recycle one of them.
Yeah.
Being a normal trap, this card is obviously very slow for Yu-Gi-Oh! Now. Back in the day, when this came out in the height of Xyz format, I mean, this card was originally printed as a super rare. It was worth it. Like, this was a powerhouse. This is 2 summons from deck.
It's also a thing of, I think when you combo it with the quick play, you're fine.
Well, yeah. Then we also have their other one,
I
Geargia
don't know what it
Change.
looks like, but I thought it looked kind of cool, honestly.
Yes, that is. It's. I'll pull it up. That's them building the final mech. So you can see all the bits. And actually, yeah, it has that thing we were talking about. So here it is, Geargia Change, and you can see clearly what's going on here. You know, we're assembling all the parts together: the carrier, the bits. You've got the 1, the 2, the 3.
I can hear the 70s toy man yelling.
And you can hear the electronic just like as they're all combining.
Okay, so that's
This is when
Oh,
we.
yeah.
This is when we play the theme song.
And that's
This
where
is
the
stock
3 ended
footage.
up at the back.
Yeah, the 3 is
I
at
was
the back.
I was just double checking the previous card. It's the reason why Geargia Karakuri can do an OTK
Yeah, probably makes sense. So
because it's that plus Birdman.
good old Birdman. So change. This was another. This came out at the same time as Anchor and is a much better card. But art wise, I don't think there's a lot to say. But this would be good art to show no matter what, because this is their dynamic transformation sequence. You can see all the bits coming together. This is the stock footage. So we're having a fun time here. And what Geargia Change does, target 2 or more Geargiano monsters with different names in your graveyard, special summon them. Immediately after this card resolves, Xyz summon 1 Xyz monster using all the summon monsters as materials. You can only activate 1 Geargia Change per turn. Oh, it's 2 or more, if I didn't say that earlier. So this is a really easy way to get to XG or any other rank 3 plays you want to do. Because remember, it's with exactly those monsters. And hey, this lets you Xyz summon on your opponent's turn if it matters. I don't know if there are any like really crazy level 3s you can do that with.
You, or is it more just material lock you?
No, it's only the materials.
Okay,
Target
then
2 or more in your
honestly,
graveyard, special summon them. Immediately after this card resolves, you must Xyz summon 1 Xyz
It has
monster
to be-
using all the summon
it has-
monsters,
then
but
it has
no
to
other
be a
monsters.
Geargiano or just any Geargias?
No, there's no requirements other than you use just the materials you summoned. So any generic rank 3s will work. The main thing is you have to remember you must summon using all the summon monsters and no others. So you have to use some of your other plays. So if you get all 3, because you can have up to different names, and that's all the 3s we don't have.
Probably rank 3s that are used.
Yeah, you can do some other stuff. And again, this is probably why they haven't done any Geargia support, but I could totally see them coming up with extra Geargianos in the main deck to give you more names and more options. You know, because if you... Pure Geargia used to be a meta-competitive deck. Like I said, it is definitely no longer. You still probably run some Geargia cards in certain Earth Machine setups, even in 2022. But it's not quite the powerhouse it could have been. There's definitely a lot of things you could do to give them some extra play. like I said, more extra deck monsters. Give them a proper boss that's even like XG is a good card. It has a very powerful effect. I feel like XG is designed so that you also make like a Karakuri Big Shogun, or you summon a fortress or something, or an air citadel or whatever, flyer citadel, that kind of shit, because its effect works whenever a machine you have battles. So it's more of a support piece. They could definitely probably end up with some kind of funny field spell that lets you discard a Geargia monster to do something, for instance. Because
Geargia boss monster that shines as a support.
yeah. Because the one thing I will say is still, even today, I don't think Geargia have a really good way to get their graveyard set up.
Yeah. That's an interesting one. They
Like,
can
obviously,
make-
Geargia Gear does some really fun stuff. Oh, hey, also, I should note, because this has the phrase change in it, you can search Geargia change with certain hero cards.
Nice hero, Andy.
I mean, that's fitting, honestly.
Geargia heroes, that feels very fitting.
Yeah.
Total of 60. Wait, how many? Yeah, there's a total of 33 cards that sync summon. Some of them are bowlers like the virtual world monsters.
Yeah, there's a few options out here for some funny stuff, but
Oh,
they
you
definitely
can
could use
put a whole
some-
bunch of monsters into number 75.
True. I think probably the best thing they need is probably give them a Link 3. Like, they could actually use a Link 3 that would be funny. There's all of them together. Give them a field spell or something for graveyard setup. For instance, we just talked about how Curious is a really powerful card that probably deserves its ban. Because it lets you generically foolish. Well, imagine a Link 3 Geargia that was just and send a Geargia monster to your graveyard. That's probably not broken. Hell, it might not even be broken if it was exactly a level 4 Earth Machine, because isn't Recycler a level 3? Yes, Scrap Recycler is a level 3 Earth Machine.
I forgot.
Hell, and Recycler lets you, when normal summon, send any machine monster from your deck to your graveyard. So yeah, if you made a Geargia Link 3 that was specifically send a level 4 or send any Earth Machine monster to your graveyard, that would also probably be okay. Axe, I think you said you were going to mention when we got to the end of this, because we are at the end of Geargia's.
Of Augur, there was a thing of box to search attacker or anything like. It was a thing of Geargia are very specific, is that they on their own are not a deck. They are. I've tried, but most of the time they're still require a bunch of other 3-4 rank 3 to 4 machine materials, because they themselves are not sustainable on their own.
Yeah, they started as an engine, and let me actually look at some of those pure Geargia lists.
Not all right, but it's usually you're locked to XG, and XG is not the best for getting you to it has some uses, but it's also still something that the hardest part is if it's something that's there doesn't attack, you just can't.
Hey,
deal
so
with it.
remember how we talked about control? If you could play no, not that kind of control, but
Okay.
Yeah,
let me this is let me get the latest. Make sure this is the right sort of thing. Yeah. So technically this one should not be marked as Geargia. I think this would be called Hand Geargia, but let me see if I can find the latest pure Geargia list.
sorry, I'm looking back to all the dumb memes I made for Frog.
We do have a lot of those.
I made a lot of those.
Yeah, so there are a couple people who are basically playing Hat, but instead of the A for artifacts, it was Geargia and Trap Tricks and Hands.
HTG.
But a decent number of these later ones are allegedly pure Geargia, and they're running like, yeah. Here's one that this one placed in a top cut. This was in 15th place, and it's 3 Accelerator, 1 Guiano, 3 Armor, 3 Arsenal, 1 Tin Goldfish, 1 Book of Moon, 1 Dark Hole, 1 MST, 2 Soul Charge, because Soul Charge was legal, 3 Updoot, and then a shitload of traps. Compulse, Breakthrough Scale, Bottomless, Black Horn of Heaven, Dimensional Prison, Fiendish Chain, Needle Ceiling, Solemn Warning, Torrential Tribute, Trap to Trap Hole Nightmare, 3 Wiretap. I mean,
Also, it's
this
pretty
is a
good.
very axe deck.
I mean, I would probably run 3 of some of those monsters, but probably.
I mean, I don't know. I think it was just for space
I
and
run
stuff.
more than 1 Pokefish.
I think it was just ratios for space, because there's a lot of singletons in this deck. The extra deck is, you know, all the rank 4 shit you would expect. Karen Gorgon, Abyss Dweller, Diamond Direwolf, Exciton Knight, Cowboy, 3 Geargia X, Maestroke, and then all the numbers you hate. Silent Honor Arc, Ragna Zero, Utopia, Korn, Rhapsody, and Berserk. And then the side deck is just like the extra MSTs, some Deep Dark Trap Hole. They're also got like DeFi and Macro in here, you know, for the possible Floodgate switch. But yeah, so
Sounds
you
like a
can
fun-
you could make pure Geargia decks as a control deck. However, you are right, they are mostly used as a larger engine. Even at the end, I'm seeing a lot of these Geargia decks that are like 3 Tin Goldfish. They're running a couple of Trap Trick monsters to search trap holes. They're running, you know, 2 or 3 Fire and Ice Hand kind of shit, you know, just to get you more 4s on board, that kind of
You
stuff.
just need more 4s and 3s, and sometimes you just... And also, Trap Trick works because your main play starter is a normal trap that you can
Yeah.
fire off Trap Trick. So
Well, and also Trap Trick's monsters, because that
Right.
lets you search back row. Because that seemed to be a lot of these decks do seem to have some back row heavy stuff going on.
it's because you got flip monsters, so if your opponent's playing on your turn, you're doing better.
Yeah. So I definitely feel like there's probably some room there for some additional synergies, some other funny stuff they could do. You know, more monsters, more guys, definitely more spell traps because they don't have a lot.
And that reminds me, I was at that one time. I'm really sorry that the card sim caught fire. I didn't know that like the wiring would be faulty, but it's like I'm sorry about all the fire everywhere.
Where?
Never mind.
Oof. But yeah, Geargia, very consistent archetype, very popular. The solo mode was actually like very fun and funny.
Do you think if they introduced a good Link monster like Ancient Gears God, they could come back?
Oh yeah, no,
No.
like they have potential. If you gave them like a Link 2 or Link 3 that you could use to like climb into other big shit, definitely would give them more
I don't think
opportunities.
they'd probably be like parts of something else. But yeah.
Well, yeah,
maybe, like,
at this stage you would need
Inner Machine. I could totally see it. Yeah, it's part of
you
Machine.
you would need to give them more than just one card to make a pure Geargia deck work. Because as I've noted, a lot of the pure Geargia decks revolved around using a lot of powerful spell and trap cards to supplement your monsters, you know, resource looping and searching each other. So that doesn't really fly as much. I mean, there are decks that make it work, but you're not gonna run like Geargia Runic or Geargia Labyrinth. Those
Nah.
don't have enough overlap. Though certainly it would be funny to try and use Geargia as like a stall and search engine to make space for funny runic stuff, but no, it's very goofy.
A Cyber Dragon.
I honestly kind of wish.
I
that-
definitely would say, sorry to cut you off, X, real quick. I was just gonna say, I definitely would say our joke about Ancient Geargia, that could be a really funny way to bridge those two archetypes together and give both of them more support. Because you already use, as Axe mentioned, box anyway in some Geargia setups.
I honestly feel like they just need something besides like a Link 2 to like I guess get more consistent. Is honestly just something to. You need something bigger than like 2500 attack that had like a negate that can still be
Oh,
negated. So
I didn't say anything like when I said Link monster, I was going along the lines that they gave Ancient Gears a Link monster that helped make it better. Like if they gave just Geargia a new card or support to make
Yeah.
it better.
I don't
In
think
this day and
they're
age.
one card away from being good. You would need to fill out their ratio because, like, as we pointed out,
like Machina where they got like an
those-
extra 5.
those
or 6.
pseudo flip monsters are very slow nowadays. They're really not worth it.
One thing, actually, when was? Let's think about it. Gear. How many cards in Machina is like third wave? Like
I mean, it was a
six or-
lot.
it was like
mean,
more than 5
I figured
cards.
you would know.
You
I don't
can.
remember the exact number.
Yeah, don't ask me. Go
Alright.
go back and watch the episode I did, because I write this shit down and then I forget it because I don't need it again. But yeah, it was a few, because it was Ruined Forces, like the retrain of Cannon or Guardian or whatever the first big stupid monster you couldn't summon was, and then it was the 3 OG guys. So it was like 4 cards.
It was like. What was it, like Megaform? Yeah, it was like a dark version of Megaform.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's.
That's good to
storage. Yeah, it's all those things. And
It's good to hear Proto Gen, Jake.
Yeah, glad we
Sorry,
got somebody in here. Yeah,
Chat.
yeah. Somebody in chat said that Geargia was one
yeah,
of our first
Rock
decks and
Fortress.
favorite.
That
I do want to
Thanks.
throw out some of that Machina recovery, not their most recent stuff, but some of their recovery and support did occur because they did get a structure deck retrain. Konami does like to retrain structure decks. For instance, in the TCG, we will very soon be getting the retrained Dark World structure deck. We know the full contents. It's been spoiled. They removed a couple of cards that are overprinted, but added some more stuff. They added extra dangers to it. It really is just a danger Dark World deck, but there's still the new Dark World stuff in it.
I can
checked, it
repost
was-
all my Dallas Danger Dark World memes.
Yeah.
I checked. It was about 5 to 7 cards. So if like Geargia got like 5 to 7 new cards, it would work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I'm thinking is probably, especially because quite a few Geargia cards haven't been reprinted since the structure deck came out, we will probably, and I'm going to tell you, it's going to be a couple of years because the structure deck came out in like 2014, so it will be like
Probably gonna be
late 2023 or
Yeah.
early 2024 or whatever before they get to it. And that would be the opportunity to give them new monsters. And Yu-Gi-Oh! Definitely does work a lot on nostalgia. You know, we just talked about when we started this about the Maze of Memories thing they're doing. You know, there's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
So it's definitely some interesting potential there. I don't think it's going to be recent, but it'll be cool. Hey, and at the very least, if you're trying to do rank 4 stuff, like we said, that's a very good synergy. It's confirmed the TCG is getting the Trap Tricks structure deck, which actually has some pretty good cards. They don't have any synergy with the Geargia monsters, but still, like it's a funny good structure deck that you might be able to still do some dumb rank 4 plays with.
Yeah. Including their
So, there's a
draw
lot
cheap
of-
card that's good for insect plants.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential there. Let me look at the original structure deck.
Wonder how they'll retrain Cape Guardian even.
Well, they say in the blurb it'll be fusion monsters, so you can.
Yeah.
Just pull the XYZ dragons. Just make different combinations.
That does seem to be what they're going for.
Yeah.
So let's see, Geargia Rampage. By the way, this was released as a deck in the OCG as version Machine Gear Troopers.
Ah.
It was called Geargia Rampage, but it's like, let's see. It was 2 Giano, 2 Mark II, 2 each of green, red, and yellow gadget. Very solid. 2 Giant Rat, 1 Gear. You had Creature Swarming, Creature Swap Terraforming. Double Summoned, very funny. Very Cope line. Wow, Metamorph and Rare Metamorph are both in here. That's kind of silly. The only extra deck monsters were X and XG. They had a couple of Ancient Gears. They reprinted Gajiltron, Chimera, and Dragon because I think they were trying to give you gadget plays because gadgets are also all level 4. And they did give you 2 Gear Towns, but yeah, you could probably cut all that out. You might still include like the Ancient Gear like Link monster because he's just a good card for machines.
Yep.
But there's a lot you could do here. Wow, this was printed with Fisher and Smashing Ground in there,
Oh god.
and a Swift Scarecrow. Damn, you really do be stalling. They had Card Trooper though. That's pretty funny. This was a good source of a cheap Card Trooper reprint. But yeah, they could probably like reprint most of the Geargia monsters that matter. They might throw in some of the, like, they could reprint Gold and Silver Gadget because those cards are a lot better for a Geargia setup right now. Axe brought this up earlier. They're great extenders for any Machine Rank 4 deck. You could probably reprint, like, Tin Goldfish in there. And still, like, replace it with a lot of, like, other good machine stuff that matters. Like, you could put Scrap Recycle in there, maybe. Shit like that. Yeah, Ancient Gear Box would be a useful, funny one. Yeah, they had Mech Support Platform. That card ostensibly works, but it's probably too slow by the time this deck came out. The support deck was in, the structure deck was in 2014.
But back in the day, as a kid, the only play I could do with my Yu-Gi-Oh deck, my scuffed as Yu-Gi-Oh deck, was Fusilier Dragon Heavy Mech Support Platform. Because boy, my deck was stupid back in the day.
Oh, we all had dumb decks back in the day.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, I think that's about everything we got for Geargias.
Like my pot cheese.
Dallas did not emerge.
Not even when I made the jokey comment about him.
Yeah. So he's clearly busy. Or
I
asleep.
expected
I don't know.
my nickname to be changed if he
Okay.
saw that.
Well, we'll see.
Okay, crossed out Geargia on the
Yep.
wish list now.
The next solo mode, which I'm not going to say is per se our next episode, because we do have one more Tuesday left in the month, so it should be the one that won our poll, which was DDD. Why? Let's see. Oh, it'll be Dynamists, that's right. Because we've already done Digital Bugs, so it do be Dynamists. That'll be fun. Dynamist is definitely one of those, I think, fan favorite decks from the Pendulum era because it was a relatively low rarity deck. It was very consistent.
Yeah, if I recall right, apparently those scenes, along with a few other archetypes, are connected to the Dragon Slayer monsters.
Yes, there's some stuff with Draco Slayers that gets together. We'll see if we can find any of those lines. There are definitely some of them big boy Draco Slayer guys who look like it, and sometimes some of them got remade as true Dracos. But anyway, DDD should be our next one. Hopefully Dallas will be here to explain the flowchart to us, to show us the 5-page document, whatever.
I am so excited to go through all the DDD, and then we'll just be like, we'll slowly lose energy as it
We're
goes,
gonna
but
have a
then we-
lot of funny names and a lot
and
of
then
weird.
we'll need to take a
products.
break to like. Not
Well, it might end up
talk.
being 2 episodes. Like, I'm gonna have to actually count up how many cards it is. We might have to break it into like the DDs and then the DDDs, because we'll be talking about the D/Ds as well, because those like make the DDD part go.
Yeah, then there's the Go/-DDD.
Yeah, and there's a couple of other weird ones. I think in the
And then
manga,
the-
which I don't think has been made in real life, there was a 4Ds. There was DDDD.
Yeah, that was, I think, the Divine Zero Keen Rage was that one.
Ah, okay.
And if I wait, I typed in D/D. Why is Raviel popping up in that one?
I think you play that sometimes in D/D decks because it's just fiends.
Yeah,
But yeah,
okay.
so we've got some stuff to talk about, so we'll hopefully get in there. Please make sure you watch that one. Before we go, I know we already spent like 30 minutes talking about the ban list and other dumb stuff, but I have some other things to throw out at you. Hopefully, I definitely noticed there were more of you in chat. There were more of you watching today. I believe YouTube has fixed their problem where they weren't showing live streams in your sub feed. We did stream Monday. We had a Plague's Tale stream. I would love for you, if you were interested in that, to go out and check that out. Tell your friends to check it out. Shit like that. Give it some likes. Because it did, like, abysmally because YouTube just wasn't showing live streams in the sub feed that night. And it's really fuckled us. So I would appreciate if, you guys could help me out and spread some love there. Find it back in our log.
Okay, I was wrong. It's this card.
Oh, yes. Super Dimensional Sovereign Emperor Zero
But I
Paradox.
think, no TCG counterpart.
So, yeah. Thanks for all that to come up. So, love to see you guys support that one. Make sure to show up for the DDD so we don't fucking die and make it, worth our while. I do also want to throw that out there for people keeping up on our general streams as we wrap up. In addition to the other nonsense I do, I was gonna shill a little harder, but it's fine. Starlight came out very early with the Gate Guardian thing. It's very funny. There was no Dallas here for you to yell at, so.
Okay, for
But,
Dallas show immediately as we finish the stream.
Yeah. But in addition to some other stuff I did that makes me look at my wallet very sadly, there was a good Black Friday deal on Elden Ring. It was like $25 off, and I got a little bit of cash back, so I have ordered.
Holy
that game.
shit!
Yeah, no, it was a big Black Friday sale, which is very shocking for a FromSoft game. So I was like, okay, I got to do this now. God knows when they'll be this slow again.
And in which case, if you do play it and want to stream it, I'll have to set aside some time to be there.
Yes, I have ordered it. It was the PS4
I
version.
want to be the voice on your shoulder about being like, listen, man, that enemy sucks. Everyone fights it. It's bad. Just don't be stressed about it. Just keep fighting it. You're fine. It's awful.
I'll be on the other shoulder going, do it.
No, fight it. It's gonna suck, but it always sucks. So just fight it.
Okay, so Lost is going to be the inner Palpatine.
Do it.
No, I want to be. I want Lafayette to be the
But
voice on your
it
shoulder.
is also, I want to throw out, it is the PS5 version, so, that'll be streamable for me, obviously.
And what I think actually runs better.
I think it does technically. So, like I said, it's supposed to come Friday, so we got a lot of other streaming stuff to do. Lucky's already done with the new Lost Belt, so that's what I'm gonna go do immediately after this.
I had to go do that too.
So yeah, no, I'm gonna go log into FGO. If you haven't logged in already, log in today. I'm gonna go log in and beat that up probably real quick.
I gotta go do more.
So I can go play more
I gotta
Pokemon.
go
If it
deal with
shows up a
Namazu.
date early, which it probably won't, but if it shows up like Thursday, we could have Souls Giving, because I'm not. My family's very busy with other stuff, so we're not really going
might be-
anywhere for Thanksgiving. So
probably got
I might
something
have some
going.
free time to stream some stuff at you. If not, probably not. We'll see what happens.
I'm probably busy doing Baldur's
But
Gate
hopefully,
2 for,
like I said,
tomorrow.
I'm pretty sure I can make my money back just streaming the game a couple of times and yelling
And,
at
are
you
you
guys.
ready for more?
So-
Are you ready for more Catharian?
I'm ready for you
hospitality?
to shut the fuck up so I can, finish doing my shill. You always make the end of every stream 10 minutes longer.
I thought you were already done. Sorry.
No, I have not
No, he was still
ended the stream button. I'm talking to chat. I'm not talking to you.
Did he leave or did you?
No,
move
no,
him?
he left.
Okay.
He threw himself out. What Axe is alluding to, though, is tomorrow we should be back Wednesday for more Final Fantasy 14 streaming. So, also, if you tune into our streams, I hope you check that one out as well. I know that those are reasonably popular as well, so you should get some more of your action there. Thank you so much for tuning into Fail Portrayal. We hope to see you back next week for more. Remember, if you support us on Patreon, you can get access to the topic poll for that every month, so you can hit that one up. Don't forget to otherwise like, comment, and subscribe, so, you always get our streams. Ring that bell to see when we do the stream. And we hope to show up next time so you can yell at Dallas more. Now I'm going to hit the end stream button. Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.